Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long was 1975. A YouTuber on the rise, reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends. But Long was 1975.
This is Aliens on the Commodore 64, released in 1987, maybe 86 by Electric Dreams. Also released on the ZX Spectrum and the Amstrad CPC. I have a gameplay of the Spectrum version from about 8 years ago when this channel was in its infancy, because it's an absolutely fantastic game, one of my favourite games on the ZX Spectrum, and arguably a survival horror game. Now, it's based on the movie of the same name. Pretty sure you're familiar with Aliens. Hell, it's got Ripley in the middle of the display at the bottom of the screen right there, so you know what it is. But basically, Ripley and a team of colonial marines revisit the planet LV-426, which is where her and a crew of the doomed ship Nostromo first encountered the xenomorph. So you have to navigate, and this is helmet cam. So what you see there is also, quick apologies, I'm running this on Frodo on my Wii, so the colour's obviously going to be off, but I can't play this on my C64 Mini because it requires two inputs, one to fire and one to use items, such as basically being able to progress through doors. So since that only comes with a joystick with one button, and I don't want to delve into the virtual keyboard, you're stuck with oddly slightly off colour Frodo vision. But anyway, so it's a huge maze, but it looks quite simple. We'll get into it, but note there, so there are 6 colonial marines to either side of the display. Ripley, you use the keyboard to select between them, either typing the first or second letter of their name. Underneath their name you will see a number. That is the room they're in, hence they're all at the start of the space station on LV-426. Underneath that, I believe the green bar is their ammo. To the right of the individual in the middle, which will be who you have selected, that multicoloured rainbow is basically your ammunition. So there's a level of strategy where you have to jump between each of these players here, and they will remain where you left them, so they'll be in different rooms and have different levels of health and different amounts of ammunition. Let's get into it. So here we go. Right, I've played this on the spec. Oh yeah, this is the, there's no music or sound. Well, this sound, there's no music for some reason, which is a bit shit because it's, you know, Sid Chip goodness. But so you scroll left and right and you've got up and down and far. You can see my heart rates next to my character's display because these are the helmet cams from the movie. We came in there, which means we can't go out there, so we have to look for another door. You will know there is a xenomorph in the room because you will hear a beep, which will get faster and faster and faster, meaning that you're running out of time before, whether you can see it or not, it will kill you. Right, so we can go through a door like that. If I go back, just to show you what back looks like, which is find the door directly behind you. There you go, back in room 1. Now, if you do this, you lock the door to stop xenomorphs coming in, because they can come in. Don't shoot them in front of a door. It automatically creates a pool of acid in any version of the game that every time you go through from that point onwards will deplete your health. Now, if we go G for Gorman, there you go, I'm Gorman, V for Vasquez, B for Burke, even though he's the bloody traitor. Also, the bloke from My Two Dads. That show was weird. And then who else have we got? Hicks, obviously. Lovely Michael Bean. And yeah, now also, if you see gunk on the walls, clear it off, because it will spawn aliens from out of it. Now, quickly, the map. If you look up the map for this, it's just grids, or squares on a grid. You were supposed, because it came with this lovely fold-out piece of paper, you were supposed to write the number in every time you progress forward to work out where you were to make progress in the game. Really, really easy, because I think you just had to get from one side of the map to the other. Could be wrong, maybe there's stuff to do along the way, because obviously the reactor was going nuclear and all squiffy and shit like that. But if you didn't write on it, and I didn't, because I didn't want to ruin mine, you could get horrendously lost. So we can't go through that door now, because we shot the lock. So look, everyone's in room 1, so we have to blow it open, because we're classy like that. Second button, in we go. Keep moving forwards. Oh, alien! Ooh, right, gunk on the wall, that's tense. Seriously, when you're a kid, that was tense. Right, now if you clear the gunk on the wall so more aliens don't come, unfortunately, it does deplete your ammunition massively. Also, you can find people catacombed in it later on, can't you? I think so, I'm not sure. And also, you probably should keep everyone together, so we're going to go with Ripley. But yeah, so there's a basic element of survival horror and a lot of strategy in this. You will come across Newt at some point. I'm basing this on the ZX Spectrum version, in which case you have to get rid of the aliens in the room before they got her. Usually they just get you. Right, so where am I? I'm in room 4. Hicks is in room 4. I can't be asked to keep getting everyone in the same room. You're on your... He's all something stupid, apart from you, Bert, because you're just, I don't know, plotting in your head to get me up the duff with an alien embryo so you can smuggle it through quarantine, because you're a bastard. Oh, there's one in here now. Go for a headshot. Ooh. See, he spawned, but not right away, because there's more gunk. That's your motion detector, obviously. Where is he then? Oh, no, hang on. Go back to Hicks. That's because slight difference in noise means, go back to Ripley, clear the shit off the wall, that there's an alien in another room. Now, sorry for the Playground Wars and unpopular opinion, because they're essentially exactly the same game on the ZX Spectrum and the Commodore 64. Limited sound on both of them, you could say. But I think the graphics are a little bit sharper on the Spectrum, which is, you know, what you would get with the Spectrum. Sorry, that's going to piss a massive amount of people off, but I don't care, because it's right. Right, anyway, not right, it's right. Then I'm saying, right, let's go. Let's go through Shah. So yeah, do you know what? This is a brilliant game. There was a second game called Aliens US Edition, which was a bunch of mini games, which was kind of cool on the Commodore, but the Spectrum version was shit. Headshot. Get some of that in your life, head. Xenomorph bonds. I don't know. So this may seem a bit kind of crude and simple, unless you played it before, but this is basically it. But this is brilliant. It's better than the second game. Although I did complete the second game on the Spectrum, but mainly because I poked it, but because it was hard. Yeah, I will say, sorry, I had a stealth windy pops as I said that. I will say, I think the character graphics in the middle on the display are better on the Spectrum. The colour's better on this, marginally. Oh. Oh, hang on. That's Hicks. Go to Hicks. Because his name's highlighted, that means it's in there. This, though, it does this a lot more in this version than it does on the Spectrum. You know, like, because I haven't cleared the gunk on the wall, essentially. It's still fantastic. That's just opinion. You know, that it's subjective, isn't it, that I think the Spectrum version's better or looks better. Your mileage may vary, but they are essentially exactly the same game. Look up the map as well if you want to see how big this game was. And also, you've got to remember, I mean, the original Alien was on the Spectrum, wasn't it? And that was a strategy game. Oh, that's Gorman. Oh, that's because I fired. Look, Xenomorph at the bottom middle of the screen. And your camera's gone to duff like it does in the movies when they get taken away to be impregnated and stuff like that. Right. But yeah, if you fire, without, which I did then, without, you know, checking around and shit, you notify the alien and he comes and gets you immediately. That's why I'm dead. So with 2 people down, shit balls. So it does a good job of the movie, of the fact that you completely pooch screwed, outnumbered and shit like this. Can I go through Shah? Now, there is a PC remake, like a homebrew called LV426, which I downloaded and I was going to play on this, but as soon as I connect my laptop to my TV, it goes, sorry, needs to be in 320. Oh look, I accidentally shot the lock, so I have to go through. And yeah, I don't think amazing graphics or anything like that, but because it's basically just a modernised version of the Commodore 64 version. But then if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And this game ain't broke. Right, where's my room as Vasquez? Uh-oh. That is satisfying. It's really satisfying. Also, you don't go mental when you're clearing the gunk on the walls, because if you once spawned and it's in gunk that's not directly in front of you, the alien spooge, if you will, then it will immediately kill your character. So there's a whole bunch of things you've got to watch out for, including I just shot the bloody door. Which means, does that mean aliens can freely come and go? Oh, hang on, Hicks. Can anyone look after themselves? I know, that's really not the point of the game. Cool. I love, and the same on Spectrum, I love the little bit of gunk that comes flying off the top of their bonds when you shoot them. Oh look, multiple doors, so that means you've got multiple routes and stuff, which is where you start getting lost massively if you don't start recording your progression on a noisy motorbike bastard. I can hear you in space, yeah, if you don't start recording your progression on the map. I'm out of ammunition, shies and balls. Now, I have to go back. Oh, I had one shot left and I ruined it. You have to go back to find that other person so you can protect them. Sorry, it's Gorman, he's already dead. From the alien, which obviously isn't going to happen because how quickly you move between rooms. So, do you know what? Basically, I'd say leave everyone at the start room and then progress people slowly through, clearing all the gunk off the walls. Once you've cleared all the gunk off the walls, then move someone forward past that point. These are my, that's what I suggesting how I would play it, to so because they've obviously got fresh ammunition. I think there is an armory, if memory serves me. Like, I haven't played this since 8 years ago, and when I played it 8 years ago, that was the first time, shitballs, I played it since I was a kid. Bishop, so we press I for Bishop, Lance Henriksen. Right, okay. He's a James Cameron stalwart. So's the bird who plays Vasquez, isn't she? Uh-oh. Hicks. Sorry, Hicks, you're fucked because you got no ammunition. This is what I mean. This game goes to tits pretty bloody quickly. And again, like, you look at it and think such a small display. Anyway, sorry, I just got lost. There is a strategy game for Alien on the ZX Spectrum, which is kind of like a Cluedo, you know, sort of type investigation kind of game. That makes sense if you played it. But this really is like strategy and suspense, don't care what anyone says, all rolled up. Didn't know I had a pause key in a really nice polished little package. I mean, ignore the fact that the window's so small. Boom. This is fantastic. I really wish you could let rip though with the guns, but obviously this is the Commodore 64 days and Spectrum days. So. Although you could technically in the US version, but then that was shit. Maybe not so much on the Commodore 64. Oh yeah. Oh. Ooh, almost shot me from the door. Shut the door though. See what I mean? This is way harder than I thought. This is possibly harder than the Spectrum version. If you want to see what it's like on the Spectrum version, you're going to see a very old video with me in it, or talking in it, but it will give you a comparison of what the games are like compared to each other. But ultimately, pretty much exactly the same. It's just which machine you preferred. I love the fact that Hicks is still alive. How is he still alive? He's got no ammunition. Is it like, you know, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's in the woods, did it really fall? Is it like... Oh yeah, you got it when it's night, or the power's out, sorry, because they cut the power. But yeah, if a tree falls in the woods, there's no one there to see it, did he actually fall? Or will he not die unless I'm there to be him and die? Anyway, I'm about to die for everyone, but hopefully I've talked a lot of bollocks, but you can get an appreciation for this game, for what it's like, because it truly is a very early piece of survival horror and a great, great, great title. A classic, if you will, on the Commodore 64 and the Spectrum. I might put a link to the Spectrum version, the video I did in the doohickey down below, in case you want to check it out. And I might link the LV426 game, both of these if I remember, so you can play a more modernised version with it just left and right and a mouse if you so desire. Anyways, always, I'd love to know what you think, especially if you play particularly this version, and out for a little bit of Playground Wars, which one did you prefer? And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.